Whatever you're hitting, stop fucking hitting it.
Okay,
all right?
relax. Everybody relax.
We're talking about the producers. Do you know how many producers are on this movie?
Michael Douglas.
That's not a number. That's a name, and that's one of them. There's 10.
10.
2 of which are the writers, so we can knock those 2 out because we talked about them at nauseam.
Michael Werb and Mike
Collery.
The 2 mics.
Okay, whatever the fuck you keep hitting, Chris, like I swear to God.
Yeah.
I can't get arrested in movies.
All
Chang
right.
was supposed to bring me boost today, but he never did.
The most famous producer on this film by far, by name recognition, is one Michael Douglas.
Well, no, by that time, Cuckoo's Nest. No, but there was
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, for which he won the Academy Award in the first movie he ever produced.
That's the one like him and his dad had like beef over, right?
I have no idea. What was the beef?
I think Kirk Douglas played
Where's the beef?
Jack Nicholson part in like on Broadway for years. So then when Michael Douglas got the film, he's like, oh, so I'll play the role that I like made famous. He's like, no, it's gonna be Jack Nicholson. But like Kirk Douglas would have been like, 20 years too old for the role at that point. But
Billy Bibbit. I mean, there was nothing. Jack Nicholson was fantastic. My father wanted to play the part. There was no part there for me.
And you said no to your dad? You just said your father wanted to play the part.
You're
and you
looking
said
for
no
trouble,
to
aren't you?
I'm a little bit, yes.
Yeah, that was a little bone of contention. I totally understand it. It was a project my father had been involved with for a while, one of the great parts there were. And by the time he got around to doing it, he was a little older and times had changed. And all of a sudden he blamed me when it's a director's decision. Every day.
So yeah, Michael Douglas is a producer on this film. He's directed really randomly over the past 40 years. He produced, I should be saying, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in 1975, and then he waited another 5 years to produce another movie called The China Syndrome. Face Off comes around, I would say, in the middle of his filmography as a producer, kind of right dab in the middle of 1997. And the movies he made on either side of it as producer were The Ghost in the Darkness, of which he is a star in, and The Rainmaker, which I'm pretty sure he's not in as an actor. He started to produce again now with that TV show that he does on Netflix called The Kaminsky Method. So that's Michael Douglas randomly producing the movie Face Off for no reason. There was another producer named Stephen Rother who died in 2010. He's produced some pretty big movies like 9.5 Weeks, and he produced Pretty Woman. And then he's kind of worked with Michael Douglas on a few of his movies like Ghost in the Darkness, Face Off, Rainmaker.
Is it really just the prerogative of these producers just to associate themselves with a big star because it's through them that they get the movies made?
Well, that used to be the case definitely in the studio system, right? Way back in the day. It seems to be less the case these days, though. It seems to be less the case these days. It seems to be less the case these days. Producers come from a very different collection of people because they're usually just money people. Sometimes there are very hands-on producers that get involved in creative, but usually producers are just people with money. So they can literally come in from anywhere, from any field, having no prior experience with even necessarily filmmaking at all in the first place. Next up is Barry Osborne. Before Face Off, he did Peggy Sue Got Married as an executive producer. He did Child's Play as an executive producer. And then he did Face Off. That was his first, actually, no, it's not his first producer credit. The first movie was China Moon, but it was his second producer credit. Then he produced The Matrix, the Lord of the Rings films, The Great Gatsby remake, Pete's Dragon remake. And then it gets pretty thin after that. Let's move on to David Permit. I'm going to call that Permit. It's spelled with a U, but Permut does not sound proper. But he produced the Dragnet movie that starred Dan Aykroyd and Tom Hanks. And then he produced Face Off in '97. He produced Double Take, and that was the John Claude Van Damme.
And you like the monkey movie, Eddie?
Eddie, I think it's the basketball movie. Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg basketball movie. After producing Face Off and Double Take in 97 and 2001, this guy really didn't direct another notable movie until I would say Hacksaw Ridge in 2016. So it was a while.
If you typed in Face Off 2 producers, he's the only one from the original movies that come
Okay,
up.
yeah.
So
Because
maybe
he's not
Jim
even
Carrey might have still kicking around.
on IMDb.
It's not
he's
on IMDb,
listed. Yeah.
It's literally
But-
just on Wikipedia.
But next up, we got two guys that appear to work primarily with John Woo, and that is Terence Chang and Christopher Godsick. So Godsick has only produced like 6 things in his life, and they're all John Woo except for something called Take the Lead. And then randomly he produces Veep. It's so weird. In terms of Terence Chang, like, yeah, he's just directed or he's produced with John Woo since like the beginning in China, like Once a Thief, Hard Boiled, Hard Target, Broken Arrow, Once a Thief, Face Off. He's just stuck with John Woo, even back through to China again, Redcliffe 2. He must just be John Woo's go-to producer.
So exciting.
And then the last couple. Oh, well, this is your idea, bud. And you didn't want to do any of the work. And so this is what happens.
Well,
And you don't tell me what the
don't
job
tell me
is
what
until
happens.
We're here.
I'll tell you what happens.
You tell me.
So the second to last producer is a man named Jonathan Crane. What I can tell by looking at his filmography, he must have been close with Travolta and had some type of working relationship with him because he works with him a lot from like the mid-90s on. The Phenomenon, and he's on Michael, Face Off, Mad City, Primary Colors, General's Daughter, Battlefield Earth,
All the
Lucky
bad
Numbers,
ones.
Swordfish, Domestic Disturbance.
Yeah.
All the
Like
bad
literally
ones.
you should see this man's picture. This man is a Scientologist.
Yeah, I'm looking at him
Tell
right
by
now.
his
He
picture.
looks like he's auditioning for the Twilight Zone host job.
For the most part, they have an association with either John Woo, John Travolta, or as I was about to say, the last producer, Jeff Levine, worked with Nicolas Cage a lot. He started with Face Off, and then he worked
Yeah.
with City on Angels, Snake
But-
Eyes, 8mm, Bringing Out the Dead, Shadow the Vampire, Family Man. It means at some point along the way in the process of making this movie, they helped make the movie. Whether that means they just settled John Travolta down for a few scenes, or they helped translate what Nicolas Cage was trying to talk to John Woo about. Whatever it means, like, they helped at some point make this movie, and they helped enough that, or they had a close enough connection that somebody's like, let's just give this man a producing credit, or they put money in.
Hey, that's pretty good.